one of the things for Milan is you have to sell Fofana.
If you could only sell. Okay.
Fofana sucks. Fofana is a detriment to our team. I put him on the same level as Boubacar Kamara on Aston Villa. When you give Fofana the ball, you might as well be giving it to the other team.
God.
So we got to sell Fofana. Ciao Paizans! Welcome back! Calcio Culture is back and just in time for the Serie A campaign to begin. Serie A is just around the fucking corner. Predictions from Calcio Culture's trio are next week. Not going to get into it, but Logs, myself, your host for today, was god-awful garbage in his predictions for last year. But the beautiful thing about this game is there's always next season. Paisans, get your predictions in this week. DM us on all your favorite socials. We're on X, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, at Calcio Culture FC. And fuck it, you can probably reach us on all the favorite streaming sites, Spotify and Apple Pods. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We've got a great slate to kick us off on August 22nd. We've got Atalanta Sassuolo. We've got Roma and a reformed Fiorentina. And let's not forget, we've got an absolute battle of the worst, Venezia Lecce. This may be the season that Lecce goes down, and I'm not going to walk right over this one. Milan is fully due to drop all 3 points to begin the season against really shitty Torino. Vos, how we doing?
Dude, this is the year. We need Lecce to get relegated. Please.
I couldn't need it more.
Please. We need them to go down. Other than that, kind of been a weak couple of weeks here for Italian news, Serie A news. So I'm getting very excited for our predictions next week and then matches to actually kick off. And I think there is going to be some more business that gets done. So hopefully it gets a little more interesting here at the last month of the transfer window open. And that's what we're going to focus on today. All the news or all the business that still needs to be done. Because again, guys, over the last 2 weeks or so, there's been some news, but I would say for the most part, nothing groundbreaking. Right? Like, I mean, there's a couple of things we're going to mention that are big, and Motts is probably like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? There's some huge news from Juve, which is true, but we're going to get into it. But again, the main topic is going to be what still needs to be done for most of the teams here.
Yeah, and we're going to go through the top 6 or 7 here, and to be honest, there's a lot to do.
Yeah, there is.
Teams for whatever reason maybe got lulled into the World Cup action, but there is still a lot to be done to get ready for the Serie A campaign, a lot to get done for teams playing 3 games a week. And so certainly can't stop there. But without further ado, and before we jump into the core, the meat of the episode, Vos, the Italian national team continues to make waves. This one, just a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, 2 things though. I forget to mention on the last episode, we've incorrectly stated that Matthias Soulé was sold to Sunderland. It was a fake. Here we go. It was a fake. Here we go. We got catfished. Although he is still linked to a lot of different clubs, including Milan, which is interesting. So he could still be leaving. But yeah, on the Italian national team, in the wake of Maldini Gate, Pirlo Gate, some other guys in the gate,
couple gates,
dust has settled a little bit. Mancini has been officially appointed as a coach, and Claudio Ranieri as a technical director. Kind of a couple ways of looking at this one. I think that on the negative side of things, this is same as it's been, right? Like, just go back to what you know, and I would lump Ranieri in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Mancini is also included that. What I like about it is Mancini, again, we mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, brought this team to a Euro title and the longest unbeaten streak in the history of any national team until Spain just broke it. So like he definitely has the recipe. And then number 2, he has looked back on when he did get the sack and kind of realized the mistakes that he made. All that being said, I'm optimistic about Mancini, but we're going to figure out really quickly if that optimism is incorrect. I'm kind of spacing on what the correct word would be for that. It's more misplaced, I guess. What I like about the Ranieri piece of this, though, is that he is prone to playing less experienced guys. He played Pizzilli a ton at Roma, which I think is like a good example of a guy that probably should have been getting some reps on the national team, and which he has got a couple, but more reps. So I think that piece of it says, you know what, we're going to see some new blood in here. But with Mancini, a lot of these guys he's called up since the last time he was the manager. And again, we have an international window like mid-September. I think it's a long window too. So that's going to be what tells me what this is going to look like. If we see the same guys called up, I'm going to be really upset. and I think it should warrant an instant sacking, which it's not. It wouldn't happen, but we're gonna see. Like I don't want to say like here's how we're gonna look, here's how we're gonna play. Like he played a 4-3-3 when they won the Euros, and it was good. I don't know if he's gonna go back to that. There's a lot of different things he can do with the squad that he has. I'm not sure that a 4-3 is even the best when Federico DiMarco is like arguably your most important player behind Sandro Tonali. Sorry, Logs. So like there's a lot that goes into this, and it's either going to be a new era or more of the same. Like I could see him being the guy for a while, or it's just like we suck again, nothing goes well, we run the same formation, it blows, we lose to teams we should beat, and then we're in the same place.
For me, this appointment is kind of bullshit, and part of me wants to be excited about Ranieri specifically, and it's a bit biased due to what he did with Roma and how he came in and completely turned that ship around 2 seasons ago. But with coaching, with managing for a singular season versus the international team, you have a very natural pivot point.
Yeah, he's also not
every
the manager.
summer. I understand, but he's the technical director. He has a lot to say about who's coming in, about what players are going to be a part of the squad. There's a very natural reshuffling every summer. There is no natural pivot point here until after the Euros, really. That's the next major tournament. I don't know that you have something in the middle, maybe the Nations League, that you can really put the team to a real test and make a real decision between Ranieri's ability to bring up the right players and Mancini's ability to put those players in the right spots. And on top of that, this federation continues to show that they don't want to change. And they don't want to see that new blood come through. That was all Maldini wanted to do. He wanted to see the new blood come through, and they completely shoved the door in his face on all of what he was trying to do. So federation not changing. If they only really make a decision at the Euros, that's too far. That's too long from now to be making that decision, because you have a window here of 4 straight years where you could bring in a real guy who I think could last 4 years.
Yeah.
Mancini to me is not that guy. Mancini to me is... He could, but this to me is sounding more like a transitional period where you're just wasting a year away. That's what this feels like to me.
I think that was more Gattuso. Like Gattuso was like, we're appointing him because we don't know who else to appoint.
Yes, but that was a last-ditch effort.
I guess it's the same thing here. Like Mancini is definitely like, we don't know who to appoint, so we're going to appoint him again.
Right, but with Gattuso is a last-ditch effort, right? Because they go into the playoffs. They got to go for it.
Yeah.
Now they could have taken all the time in the war. They could have taken 6 months to find the right guy, but they get the right guy. Maybe not 6 months. That's definitely like an overstatement. But find the right guy for the next 4 years. Don't just bring back some old guy because there's nobody at the helm because of your own fucking doing, nonetheless. So to me, not a great signing. Still not a great place for the Italian national team. We'll see if Mancini can show some young blood and bring the young blood through. I don't have high hopes. It's just not the splash we needed.
We're gonna know in September.
I hope so. I like that it's a 3-week international break because it does give some continuity to the team. And
like we'll be able to see what he's trying to do. I think more importantly, it's who he's going to call up. That is the most important indicator of what this next era is going to look like. Because if he doesn't bring the young guys, like that's it. Like it's over. We're back in the same fucking place.
Thought that just came to my head. Not sure that it even pertains to much about what we're talking about. But I think another thing while we're on the national team here that is going to play a part. For years and years and years, the Italian national team was praised for having a kind of a natural chemistry because they all played in Serie A. A lot of those players have exited Serie A. They are no longer only playing in the same league and getting comfortable with each other all year round. This is definitely going to be a new learning curve for a lot of players coming to this team. That 3-week period is going to play into their weakness because they will have some time to get some continuity. But I do think it's interesting that for the first time in a very long time, Italian players are not necessarily playing in Serie A, the ones that are going to the national team. Again, not sure if it was relevant to the conversation.
Tonali, the only one that's a starter?
Palestra.
Yeah, true. Good point.
And Retegi's in Saudi. And Donnarumma is in the Prem.
Should he be taken? I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bit more tame on this right now because I'm not ready to say that Mancini is a mistake, but I also don't have
How old is Mancini? Can someone answer me that?
He is 61, so not that old.
I mean, it's not young.
Not old.
It's not old.
It's not old.
He'll be 65 at the World Cup.
That's fine. That's totally
fine. You can do that?
Yeah, you can do that.
All right. Let it ride.
Yeah. And we're going to revisit this in a month. Like in a month and a half, I'm either going to be like, I love this guy, or plant a Russian betting sponsorship in his pocket. Get him out of there. Like, it's gonna be one or the other. So I mean, we'll put a pin in it
breaking
there.
news from Cultural Culture.
Yeah, he's got a Russian betting. Pirlo texted me. I heard from him. He texted Motts through the grapevine. Get him out of there. But yeah, we'll put a pin in it there because I don't think there's much more to talk about. Like, he is the guy.
There's not.
We know him.
I'm just agitated.
We can't say it's a bad appointment because this guy was a really good manager for this team. So like, I can't sit here and say it was a bad appointment.
I just think it wasn't thought through, which it clearly wasn't, because Maldini left and then 2 days later they hired him. So there couldn't have been that much thought.
Yeah, I agree. This was the safest possible appointment because Conte was more of a risk. And that was kind of the only guys that were left after Maldini left.
Well, sorry, last thing. I know we're belaboring the point here, but I was reading that the Federation had an agreement with the Serie A that they couldn't poach any of the coaches, of the managers.
But like, I didn't read into that because what I don't understand is Fabio Grosso was he was like the third guy on the shortlist for Maldini, but he was technically out of a job.
Grosso was out of a job. Grosso was not out of a job.
Because he went from SAS to Fiorentina.
Yeah, but like it wasn't like he was out of a contract. He went from SAS to Fiorentina.
Yeah. He was out of
contract. And Allegri left Milan a week before the season ended. That fucking rat.
Allegri had no wiggle room. Yeah, no, that's true. That is true. By the time he got appointed, Grosso did have a job.
So I just think that's
what
also
a botch
bullshit.
That was. They should have been all over Grosso. That was the best appointment, I think. I said it from the beginning.
Would have been stays. Good for Fiorentina. Good for La Viola.
Yeah, for sure. All right. We'll
let's
call
rip
it there.
Let's get into it, because I think that there's a lot to be said here. A lot more to be said about what needs to be done than what has been done.
Although I did see that like Serie A has somehow spent the second most. I don't know.
Always do though.
Like I think it's just been a couple.
Half the spend is Gonzalo Ramos.
Yeah. It's Gonzalo Ramos and RKM is like 150 mil.
Yeah. So I'm not going to read too far into that.
Okay.
Plus, Serie A is the kings of loaned obligation.
Yeah, that's also true. Good point. So what we're going to do here, guys, we're just going to go through kind of like the top teams, go over the business that we didn't cover last week. So some of the newer things, I guess, that happened over the last 2 weeks. And then what we think is still outstanding that the teams need to address. We're going to start from the top with Inter. Obviously, not a lot to do, right? Like, they won the league. They were the best team in the league. They have the majority of the best players in their position in the league. They got a lot of business done already in we'll call it weak areas, like center back with John Stones is the most notable one. They added a few good midfielders. Whether or not they even needed new starters is a question in itself. I mean, you could argue that they didn't need to get any midfielders, and they've gotten Stanisic, who's a phenomenal addition to the rotation there. But the major loss is Denzel Dumfries. And again, same thing here, I would say. He wasn't really around last year, and it didn't really make a difference. So, like, that's the notable loss, I will say. And then there's a change of guard in goalie, right, with Provedel for Sommer. If it's going to be Provedel versus Martinez is another question. So, Logs, what do you think they need to do? If they need to do anything, what's the state of the union here?
Realistically, Inter did all their business for this summer last summer because they reinforced with such young guys. And then, props to Kivu.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point.
He really did a great job getting those guys involved and developing them over this past season. So realistically, last summer's window is kind of this summer's window. That's why they don't have to do much. They bring in a veteran with John Stones. They bring a guy back like Stanisic, like you said.
Yeah.
Kind of reinforce that midfield. They re-signed Mkhitaryan, a little bit of a weird decision, but it's almost like a non-factor because I don't think that he's going to play all that much. Do I think that they could be going after another 6? Maybe. I think another 6, somebody to learn under Hakan for one season would be good. Not necessary. They still have great rotation in that midfield, but to your point, Dumfries gone. Not a huge deal from last season when they ran away with the Scudetto, but definitely a hole, because when you think about the replacement in Luis Enrique, not the same type of player, not defensively minded enough for me to be comfortable going into the season without somebody else coming into that wing back position. So with that being said, I do think a rotational right wing back is where they need to go here. They basically just need to find a Carlos Augusto that can play off the right.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's why they didn't pull the trigger on Palestra, because they were just like, we're not going to spend that kind of money on a guy we don't really need.
They didn't need to. I think they need to get a guy for like 20 to 25.
Bellanova.
I mean, yeah.
That's who they should get, yeah. But I agree with you. Like, if they don't get anybody, I don't think this is nitpicking a little bit, right? Like, do they probably need a second guy that can play right wing back? Yeah. Do they need him? Not really.
Yeah, I think I don't think you can play Luis Enrique for 3 games a week the entire season.
Yeah, but you also have oh my God, The guy
You're
that's
not
not a guy
Don't
that
say
plays.
Bissek.
No. Not a guy that plays right wing back. Inzaghi played in there. I'm spacing on. Should not be on Inter. Fortezzi. He plays right wing back sometimes. Like I think that's probably who they're thinking will be the backup wing back.
That's a travesty.
Yeah. That guy's rotting away. That's what needs to happen. That's what Inter needs to do. Sell Fortezzi. That's the business yet to be done.
You know what they could do is Dodo.
Yeah, and they were linked to him.
That's like super serviceable. He's a defense. Well, he plays defense and offense. He's okay.
He's serviceable, yeah.
And he's been in the league for a couple years now.
Yeah, I would like that.
I think that makes sense.
I think you can get him for like 15 mil. I would do that.
Yeah. Again, not breaking the bank, and I think that he can definitely he can come in and play. Like, you're not worried about. He's not like bringing in Davide Calabria. He's not like bringing in Emerson Royale. He's a good player.
Yeah, he's a solid
decent player.
Yeah, decent player. I agree with that.
Unfortunately, Inter, not much to do. They're going to be right back on track, assuming that it wasn't just a luck of the rookie in Kivu.
No, yeah, they're going to be good again. Definitely.
Unfortunately.
So kicking off from Inter, because not a lot to talk about. Going over to Napoli. Notable business between the last episode is that they sold Gutierrez for, I think it's 26 million euro reported to Bayer Leverkusen. For you guys that don't know him, he's a wingback, left back who they actually signed last year. Played a decent amount.
Mostly because of injury.
I don't think he's bad. I don't think he, like, a lot of people are on Twitter like, oh, this is a huge mistake. I didn't think he was that good. Like, he was fine. Like, I'm not going to say anything bad about the guy, but like,
I feel like when I watched him, a lot of the time he seemed like a liability from my view. So I don't know how they got 26 mil out of this guy.
He kind of gave me the vibe like when you're playing like five-a-side with people, right? Like, he's the guy that thinks he's messy, but he's not actually messy. So he just like keeps the ball too much and then gets into bad situations. Like, that's kind of the vibe I got from him.
Yeah, I don't think if somebody gave me 26 mil for Gutierrez, I'm shipping him out overnight express.
I agree. So what do they then need, Logs? Because I think the problem with looking at Napoli is we go back to last season, came in second place, squad was devastated with injury. So you can look at this in two ways. Like, we need more to get across the line and to cover for injury, or going into this season, we're going to have a full squad because like we're not going to be injured like this again. Yeah.
So we talked about before the episode when we were planning, we were talking about how this back line definitely needs some work. And I'm certainly going to say that they need some more wingback help because they've got two dinosaurs at the wingback position in Spinazzola and Politano / Di Lorenzo on the right.
Yeah.
So I think wingback is definitely something they need to focus on. Now, my next thought was to go to center back, where on paper, they're still really strong. They've got Buongiorno, they've got Buchema, who are two really big name brand signings from the Serie A. They've got Rachmani, he's only 2 seasons out from the team.
Our favorite center back in Serie A, arguably.
Maybe yours, maybe not mine, but Matteo Gabbi is mine, of course. But I was thinking about it. They don't have another 9 after Højlund. And with Allegri's...
No, they still technically have Lukaku and Lorenzo Luca. Don't forget.
Do they have Lorenzo Luca?
Yeah.
Is Lorenzo Luca not laying bricks outside of the stadium?
No, they still have him. We can get into that, but like, I also, going back to, do you want to do this right now? We'll do this right now. David Neres played as the second striker last year and was fucking lights out there. Alisson Santos played that position, was lights out there.
No, those guys are wingers, dude. Those guys are wingers.
Yeah, but last year they played there and they were really good. And don't forget they have Giovanni now. Like,
I forgot about Giovanni.
Is low-key
I forgot about Giovanni.
Fucking stacked. And they have Vergara. That's my number one thing. Biggest loser of Allegri taking over. He's got no place in this team now.
No, yeah, he's screwed because he can't play wing back. I don't know. Politano plays wing back. I don't know how, but Vergara could play wing back.
Bro, Giovanni can play wing back. That guy's a dog.
No, Giovanni's not playing wing back.
This team's stacked. This team's stacked. You forget.
So then I think if we're going to be nitpicking, which you have to do when you're talking top 6, top 7 teams, I think it is center back because you can't trust Buongiorno and Buchema.
Yep, I agree. And Rachmani, 31, age might be showing.
He certainly was last year. The injury bug got to him. So
I agree with you there. And then you already mentioned Juan Jesus going out the door, and then you basically are left with Mateus Oliveira, who was kind of shown the door last year for some weird reason, because I thought he was really good when they won the Scudetto. But I agree with you.
Not a center back, though. Not a center back.
He can play left center back.
I know, but I don't want him to. I would not like him.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think they need somebody. I think the bigger question, though, is like, what's the level that they get? And that's, I think, what makes it hard, because on paper, you're signing a backup, right? But you kind of need a guy that's a starting 11 caliber player, which is what I think makes it really difficult for them at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I
would say the other thing is, like, is Buchema a day one starter even?
In a back 3?
If you sign in, like, is he at the level where you're going out to the market and saying we are buying a backup? Or is it we're buying somebody that can knock him out?
No, easily could buy somebody that puts Buchmann on the bench from day one. But if you go the other direction, like, I understand.
Yeah. It's also going to be a lot of money. It's like a day one top 4 team center back is going to cost you big money.
Napoli should be shelling out money. They're in 3 competitions. Like, they need to make the next step.
Yeah.
The next step for them, like, yes, obviously they need to be winning Scudetto year after year, but they need to be making bigger moves in Champions League this year for them. For me, and we'll get into it next week, but for me to be happy with this team, that's what they need to do. But they're not going to, because Allegri's a fucking idiot.
Well, we'll talk about that next week. But on the wingback side of things, they probably need a pretty good wingback, right? Like it's Spinazzola.
They need a starter.
Spinazzola and Spinazzola are good.
They're not playing.
Pesca,
games
and
a week for the whole season.
Mazzocchi's 100% just a backup. Mateus Oliveira backup. They probably need one more, a good one.
Yeah, I think wingback across the league is necessary right now.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it. So like on them, like I think these are more kind of not to the same degree as Inter, but like at the center back, it's probably a little bit of a luxury depending on what you want to do.
I think wingback is a necessity for them.
I think they
center
loaned
back
Marianucci too, and he was good last year.
He was good. I think they did loan him out.
He was on Torino, and I think he's still technically on. They loaned him back out,
or was it a 12-month loan from January?
Hold plea. He hurt his MCL yesterday.
Classic.
All right, so the
injury bug is back.
I'll report back on this. Continue.
All right, so I mean, Napoli in a decent spot, but I do think more so than Inter, they actually need to make moves rather than if they don't, they're okay. They need to make some moves, especially on the outside. That does bring us to third place, finishing Roma from last year, who have made some decent noise in this transfer window, mostly because the Soulé deal that went through but kind of didn't go through. But they also got some more business done in bringing in Roma Molina from Atletico Madrid. That is pending a medical, but that seems to be a done deal for around 20 million euro or so. That's a great buy.
That's a great one. I love it.
I think that's a great buy for them.
Makes so much sense.
Really, really strong wing back, right back scenario that if you put him out there, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. He's just he's Shelik, but just a better version. Like, doesn't do anything crazy well, but it's just like good.
No, and you don't need your right back to do anything crazy well. You just can't have him be a dumbass.
Especially when you have Wesley now on the left. Like, I'm assuming, right? Like the guess is you move on from Angelino because Wesley played a ton of left wing back last year and it worked well. I'm really interested to see how they deploy Wesley this year because he's a right-footed player. He's probably going to be. I
still think he was best on the right.
Yeah, I do too, but I agree with you. I'm interested in that one, but Molina makes sense. Right, like it's a good buy. It's just a really good reinforcement. Signing. Played in 2 World Cup finals. Like, this guy's been around, played in big games. I think I like it because they don't have a lot of guys like that. And then the other thing they did is they re-signed Pellegrini, which I think is a surprise to a lot of people. It was a surprise to me for sure. I think that the whole Pellegrini thing has gotten so toxic, and then like he'll score a goal against Lazio, and then all of a sudden he's locked for life. And it happens every year. Like that's the whole thing.
Pellegrini getting re-signed and Dybala getting re-signed both don't really make sense to me. But they clearly have. Gasperini has to have some kind of calling for both of them. They also, let's not forget, they did go out and they bought another center back, Konstantinos Koulourakis from Wolfsburg for about 17 million. So they are reinforcing across the board. They bring in Castro up top to work with Malin. Not really sure what Gasperini is going to do from a formation standpoint. But in your opinion, where do they go next? Yeah, because I don't think that they're done.
I don't think they should be done. I think the problem with Roma right now is they're having this is a good window.
Not a great window, though.
Castro is good. Molina's good. Does this get you closer to the Scudetto? Does this get you closer to winning a European competition? I would probably say no right now, which is why I think they still need a couple more players in 2 positions. And again, they've reinforced at center back. They have a lot of players in that position that are good.
Okay.
Yeah, and you go back, so it's like Mancini and Dika, who's now maybe leaving. Weirdly, that just happened. And then you got guys like Gilardi and then the Polish guy, Zolkowski, who I think are going to be...
Zolkowski.
I think they're good, but you need a lock 11 guy. Like, it cannot be, in like last year is Hermoso playing so much. And Mancini lost them some games last year, and I get that he's probably going to be a starting 11 guy, but they almost need one more kind of tight in back there, and I think it's worth splashing the money on. Because I would also say Ndika was not very good last year. So they have a lot of guys that could be good, but not a lot of guys that are going to be good. And I think that's a problem with a lot of teams in this league. And then beyond that, something that we've been crying out for a very long time is a winger, like an actual winger, not a wing back, a winger that can play off the left. In case, even if they're not playing with a left-sided winger, they need a player that can do that in a pinch. And Wesley is, okay, sure, he can hold the width, but you don't have anybody else. You haven't re-signed El Shaarawy, which I also hate. I would have liked to see him stay on this team. You lost Brian Zaragoza, who I thought was great last year, but
he was awesome.
That was a dry loan, so he went back. And it looks like they're still trying to get rid of Soulé, so even he could play there. And outside of that, like I'm not sure who the guy is, and I would like to see it happen. That one is more of a luxury. I think they need a center back, though.
I think a center back is, you probably have to go center back because defense wins games. Yeah. But, if I'm Roma, I just went out and got a young guy in Castro. I got Malin as my center point up top. I don't know why I re-signed Dybala and re-signed Pellegrini, but I've got a need off the left.
They're playing with
There's a name that comes to mind that I really would like to see.
Rafael Leão.
Oh my God, buy Leão for 60 mil, please. No, Loriente.
Yeah. Dude,
I think that would be a good buy.
Why has nobody signed him yet?
I don't know. The Sass might have a really big price tag on him.
Or he's an asshole. The old Palladino move. You suck.
The old Palladino. Well, I don't know, because I feel like him and Pinamonti are in Berardi. That top three is coming back this season, presumably. Still a force to be reckoned with. So
yeah, no, they're good. Yeah.
I think Sass is kind of moving on from a selling club or like a battling relegation. They might be thinking of themselves as a top 10 club perennially. Would love to see it, but regardless, yes, I agree. Winger off the left would be great. Center back definitely needed. You cannot leave Svilar on an island for another season.
Yeah, and then I don't want to get too into this right now because we could talk about it next week. But
you're going to
going to the I'm going to get into it. It's on my point of like, are they moving forward? In last year, like it was a 3-4-3, whatever you want to call it. Right? It was a two-man midfield for the most part. Sometimes they play with the 10. Ainaoui, Katsili, Kone. Is it good?
Cristante.
Yeah, Cristante. Is it good? Yeah. Like, is it great? No.
On their best day, Ainaoui and Kone is good.
Totally disagree. On their best day, that's not a great pairing. Like, it's good. But like, you know what I mean?
Did you watch the World Cup?
Yeah, he was good.
They were both good.
Yeah, but what I don't like about the two of them together is they're both pretty casual. Like, he runs a lot more than Kone, but every time he gets the ball, he doesn't do anything positive, in my opinion.
Sure. To answer your question, where I think you're going with this is
Roma finished Miners.
Pope Miners? No,
I would kind of like that. That'd be an interesting one.
I don't know if that's the answer. But the answer that I'm going to give you to what I think your question was, does this window progress Roma? Roma finished in third last season. Granted, was it because other teams sucked?
Good point.
Mostly, yeah.
Good point.
But they finished in third. So does this window put them in a top 1 or 2 spot? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Do you think the gap on Napoli is still pretty big?
Oh my God, yeah. I
do too.
I fully believe with the progression that Como is going to make, it puts them far behind Como even with this window as well.
Far behind Como?
I think far behind Como.
Okay.
I think far behind Como, mostly because of the squad building that Como has done. It's not necessarily that on paper these guys are much better than what Roma's got on paper, but the squad building is some of the most immaculate stuff I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing with Roma that I will say is like Daniel Malin is the reason they finished top 4. And if you
1,000%.
Yeah. So
it's not even just because of Daniel Malin. It's Daniel Malin and Allegri's ineptitude.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. No, that's a very, very fair point. I kind of forgot.
So again, I'm not going to go into this season being a Roma hater again, but I'm skeptical given what business they've done so far.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And with
I'm not skeptical.
Yeah, let's go straight into Como. I think that's a good segue. You can lead on them. They're your little lads.
The little lads by the lake, Como, doing great things. Sorry.
I just started rewatching Game of Thrones and it made me think of this. The Little Lords.
The Little Lords. They might have been they might have been promoted to the Little Lords by the lake.
Yeah.
Como are doing phenomenal things up by the lake. I believe their stadium is going to be done.
I don't know how that happened.
I have no idea because they demolished it. Yeah, literally at the last day of the season. It might be done.
That is the most un-Italian thing I've ever seen done. Getting that done in the off season.
That's how you know that they're just doing it different up there.
Yeah,
they're just doing it different. I think their stadium's going to be done. I think it has to be because they got to host Champions League games, but should be done for at least, if not at the first couple games, definitely early on in the season. Their kits are absolute gas. If you have not seen them, lay your eyes upon them.
I'm definitely getting one. They're fucking sick.
They are amazing. Their streetwear is great. Their fan base is growing immensely. They've got a sick sponsor in Revolut this season. They got the Champions League patch on the sleeve, which is looking nice. I mean, I can't say more good things about Como. They make me so sad to be a Milan fan these days. But in terms of more business done by Como, I believe we covered Matteo Liberali the last time we were here. But if not, just to reiterate, $6 million buy from a Serie B squad. I forget who, maybe Spezia, but was an original sale from Milan. We absolutely boofed it. Zlatan hurt Liberali's feelings, and that's why he chose Como over Milan this window. They also went out and got Jan Koto from Dortmund, a right back, outside back. Can play wing back as well, but they play a 4-back, so he'll play probably the right. Good player, solid player. Haven't seen a lot of tape on him, but I think they spent 20 mil to go get him.
If you're leaving Dortmund for 20 mil, you're good. Like, you're not a bad soccer player.
No, he's going to be good. He's going to be solid, and he reinforces an outside back platoon that is already strong. And then last but certainly not least, they go out and splash the cash on Koto Chalobah, center back / center defensive mid in a pinch from Chelsea. So Como go out and get guys that they know they want, and they do not waver.
Yeah,
it's not one of those things where they identify a guy, go through a couple negotiations, it falls through, and they go get a completely different profile. They want a guy, they go get him, they get the deal done, they don't fuck around, and that's why their squad building has been the best thing I've seen in the last couple of seasons. So with that being said, though, I just talked about how I think Roma has fallen behind Como. What else does Como need to keep moving up this table?
Yeah, I think that Como have two challenges going into the season. It's you just finished top 4. Was it overachieving? There is a debate there, I think, at this point that needs to be said. Like, probably yes. But from their perspective, it's like, okay, now we finished top 4. We have to do it again at the very least, right? Like, we have to level up. And you have that challenge, and then at the same time, now you're in Europe. And not only are you in Europe, you're in the Champions League. So you need to get a lot better to be able to do anything there. And I don't even know what their objective is going to be in the Champions League. It could be to get to the knockout. And I don't think that would be crazy. I think that the way that they play, they can do that. But with all this being said now, this season is a different animal. You're playing a lot more games against way better competition than you've seen ever as a club. So you've got to prepare for that. And I think for the most part, they're actually okay. Like, in the players that they have are really good. That being said, a lot of them do not have that like high level experience at the same time. So there's a lot of different things playing into this. With all that being said now, I think there's probably 2 areas that I don't even know if improve is necessarily the right word, but reinforce. And I would say that that's in the midfield, particularly in that like pivot of Perón and D'Acunha, because I don't think they really have another guy that's at their caliber, and neither of them have really the level of experience I think they're going to need going into this season. That being said, the only way to reinforce this position is to get a fucking stud, which is different from the things that they've done. I think what probably makes the most sense is a veteran on a free or a veteran cheap, and you throw out a good name that I kind of like. I'm not sure it fits the character of the team, but I think it's interesting, and I think a player like that would make a lot of sense here if you want to talk about him.
Yeah, I think Leon Goretzka is a name that I would like to see come into this team, and it may not fit the profile that Como has clung to over the last couple of seasons, but it's that type of profile going into European competition is what gets you slaughtered. And I think that Goretzka, or that type of player, Goretzka maybe not so much a titan, but definitely a presence in the midfield, right. Big-bodied, strong, composed. Like, that's what's going to ground this Como team, and I think that's what they need going into European competition. So to bring a bit of veteranness in there, some strength, some size, composure. I mean, D'Acunha and Perone, once they hit the knockout stage, they're going to get swallowed up. It's a recipe for disaster.
I understand that, but they might not. Like, they are probably 2 of the most underrated players in the league.
I'm not saying that they're not
really
underrated.
Good.
I mean, I think that they're great, and they've shown game in and game out in Serie A that they're stellar players, and they're the backbone of this team, right? They're the support system that lets Nico Paz be Nico Paz. But I do think that when you get into this higher level of competition, if they're truly serious about making a run, I think they got to get an anchor back there, which is something they don't have just yet.
They do. Yeah, they do. I don't know who it is. It's because the other thing is like it's somebody that's not really a starter because you're not.
But you don't need a playmaker there though because they have so much creativity up top. You just need a guy to bring composure.
Yeah, I just don't really know who it. I don't know who it is. It's a really interesting problem to have.
Like, you know what would be sick, and it just won't happen. I don't think it could happen, but like Ederson.
He doesn't fit the way they play, though.
No, but that's what I'm trying to say. The way that they play, they need someone to kind of bring some calmness in there. And the way that Ederson was able to control the pacing on Atalanta last year was, again, something we hadn't seen out of Ederson, but I think could be good.
With the Ederson, though, thing is you're not buying somebody that's going to knock either of these guys off the starting 11 because these are your guys. Like
you're telling me you buy Ederson, you're not going to start.
No, but my point is, they shouldn't buy somebody like that because Perona's 22 and Acuña's 24, and they were two of the best midfielders in the league. Why would you buy somebody to replace them? Like you need somebody that's good, is going to give you some good performances, but isn't going to be playing every game.
But that's what I'm saying. Do you feel comfortable with Acuña and Peroni going up against PSG?
Dude, you don't know until you try. Like, you just got to have the other option available is my point.
The closest thing that we have is when they played Inter in the two legs for the
think about the same thing, dude. Vitinha and João Neves, like, those guys weren't really ready.
Vitinha and João Neves are world-class.
No, but now they are, but they were given the opportunity to become that, is my point.
I think they were better than Acuña and Peroni. But I see your point. Yeah,
but we haven't seen these guys in Europe, though. That's my point.
Sure. Okay. I mean, and again, I have full faith in Fabregas, so whatever he thinks that they need, I don't have any qualms with it.
You know what I would have loved?
That's my own opinion.
And this is going to sound shitty because you're a Milan fan. If Modric had left and gone to Como, perfect. That would have been, my God, awesome.
I think that's kind of like the Goretzka move.
Yeah.
With more legs under him.
With a way better player.
Well, yeah, a way better player in Modric, but way more legs and an engine in Goretzka.
Yeah.
In any case, you brought up another point, though, when we were talking about this before. I just said that they have such an immense amount of creativity up top, but they are missing one little piece, and I do agree with you.
Yeah, if we can even call it missing at this point. Because I think the other thing that goes into this is, we talked about this briefly before we got on. Last year, Assane Diao and Jaden Adai missed a ton of minutes, so like I'm kind of considering them new signings, and they're more like wingers, right? Like that's kind of their position. So you're automatically reinforcing at wing. Nico Paz is going to be your 10, is going to play 20 billion minutes this year. Like he's never not going to play. And that brings you then to your striker. And Anastasios Douvikas last year, 14 goals in Serie A, like absolute haul. Great. I don't think you could say anything about his campaign that was bad last year. That being said, I'm not 100% sure we're going to have that same output. So I would be looking to strengthen this position and not only get a backup, but I'll be looking at somebody that can either push him or knock him out of the team completely, just in case. And it's kind of a weird one because that'll probably cost you a good amount of money at this point. But I would like to see it. They're really linked to Moise Kean, which I actually really don't like because it kind of gets away from the way that they've been playing, which is highly technical, team-based football. Moise Kean is the polar opposite of that in every sense. So I don't love that one. But I like that they're thinking about a player like that, like somebody like a game breaker.
Yeah.
Like they're not just saying, "Oh, Douvikas was good. Let's just assume he's going to be good next year." And a lot of teams do that. And I don't know who the guy is here either, though. That's it.
No, I'm racking my brain thinking of a guy that could fall in here. Castro would have been cool.
I mean, here's a legitimate question.
That fits the bill of like their young guy.
Could they get Ferran Torres?
No, he's going to PSG for like $1 bajillion.
Oh yeah, true. I forgot about that. That would actually be great.
But he's not even a 9 either. Like
I know, but they don't really need a 9.
You're probably thinking of like Oyarzabal, but I hate Oyarzabal.
Yeah, I don't want Oyarzabal. I'm not a fan.
No, I'm not a fan there either. But like that's kind of the like Endrick maybe could be fun. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a weird anomaly because they still have Morata, who's like serviceable, kind of, not really, sucks. But I just don't think. I think you're right. I don't think Douvikas has it in him to repeat the season that he had last year.
I'm not going to say he can't. I just think it's.
No, he could. He could. Yeah. He definitely didn't hit his ceiling. I have my doubts in terms of him being that consistent.
What's his floor? Yeah. They just need more goals, I think, at the end of the day. Like, even if Douvikas plays 30 games,
Dude, they score a bajillion goals, though.
I know, but I think they need other guys that can help contribute. Like, it's Nico Paz and him are so much of that. You need another guy.
Let's see what happens when Hassan Diao and Joseph.
Oh my God, dude, this team's gonna be so good.
And Adai are healthy. That's Como. Really, really excited for Como. Really excited to get a Como kit. Can't wait to debut that on the pod. That brings us to Milan. And I really don't know what to say. I don't really know what to say because it is today, August 10th.
You're going to be harsh. You're going to be harsh right now, I think.
I'm probably be harsh. Today is August 10th. The window closes in 21 days. And Ruben Amorim, newly appointed manager, decided only like 2 days ago the last couple of guys that he wants out the door, which will then decide who we want to bring in. We have 21 days to do business, to fill in holes that comes from a potential sale of Fofana, who I think we do need to sell. Like I would, even if we brought in nobody else for the window, I think that one of the things for Milan is you have to sell Fofana.
If you could only sell one of Fofana or Loftus-Cheek, who are you selling?
It's Fofana. It's not close. It's just not close. I actually like Loftus-Cheek because he's at least a gigantic guy that at the end of the game you toss in as a second striker and he can maybe win a couple of headers.
Okay.
Fofana sucks. Fofana is a detriment to our team. I put him on the same level as Boubacar Kamara on Aston Villa. When you give Fofana the ball, you might as well be giving it to the other team.
God.
So we got to sell Fofana. The other thing is here, not only did he decide Fofana out, he finally decided that Estupiñán needs to leave, even though we did sell him and he brought him back. Decided that Tomori is officially on the outs.
Which I like. Get him out of there.
Tomori definitely out, and I think he decided that Ruben Loftus-Cheek also needs to go. So that's 4 guys that have played a lot of minutes for this Milan team the last couple of years that we have 21 days to sell and then replace. Not only that, but we still have the Rafael Leão saga going on that I don't know what's going to happen. He doesn't really fit into the profile of the left winger that Amorim wants to play. He's said that a million times. He wants to move Pulisic over to the left. Leão is only getting offers from Turkey, which he's come out and said publicly he does not want to go to Turkey. He has not gotten any interest from any Premier League teams, La Liga teams, PSG, or Bundesliga. And we are not looking to sell him for anything less than 50. So we're in a weird spot where if we don't play him, he's going to lose value anyways. And if we play him, he doesn't really fit the system and it's back to square one where we're just fixing our team around Rafael Leão.
Yeah.
So that's another problem.
So are you in the boat of get rid of him then?
I want to get rid of Leão because I just think that we need I want to give Amorim a fresh start without the pressure of having to play what everyone says is your best player.
Yeah. No, I understand your stance on that. I'm still a team Leão guy at this point. But so if the only suitor for him is like Roma, would you be willing to send him to Rome for 50 mil?
For 50 mil?
Yeah. Would you be willing to risk playing against that?
I mean, you have to. I think
this is actually what the problem might end up being because I've seen Leão to Roma all of a sudden popping up, and it's like one of those things that's high risk on both sides of the table. But it could be.
I'll take the 50 mil though. The 50 mil, move on, let everyone go on to greener pastures, and let Milan restart with a true new identity. I do not need an anchor of the thought of having to play a player just because of his potential ceiling, which he's never gotten to. And so I do want to get rid of him, but that lends itself now to we've got a pretty scarce roster. It leads us to a lot of opportunity, but at that point I have no idea where we need to go. The 3 things that I do know that we need, according to Amorim, we still need a right-sided winger that can play narrow, almost like a 10, but from the wing, which is not Pulisic because he's going to move into the left. It's more so an Nkunku style player, but even more so not even Nkunku because Nkunku's a righty. He wants a lefty that can play off the right and cut in as the 10.
Ooh, Chukwueze.
Well, he's already moved Chukwueze to the right wing back, which has actually worked out decently well.
I like that. I like it a lot.
I think that's a really cool revamp.
I always liked him. He's like kind of a frustrating player, but he's not bad.
He's just inconsistent. He's not as bad as Calabria or Emerson Royale, so I'll take that. That's not really high bar, but to rotate in and out with Salamakers, I think is a decent
So what happens then with
there.
Salamakers? Do you think he's a lock to be one of the wingbacks, or you think he's going to play in the front 3?
No, he actually. That's another thing that Amorim said. He wants to move Salamakers to the left.
Left wingback or left wing?
Left wingback, which is interesting.
That is interesting.
Because in theory, it's weird how Amorim plays. On the left, the winger the offensive winger holds the width and that wing back cuts in.
On the right, I would keep Leão.
On the right, you have a winger cutting in and the wing back keeps the width. Yeah. So it's a weird dynamic. That's just how he wants to play. So be it, at least he knows what he wants to do.
Key piece to this puzzle this year, and then we can talk about what they need. Nkunku. You get a good Nkunku this year, bro.
If we can have Leipzig Nkunku.
Oh my God. Gonzalo Ramos and Leipzig Nkunku. Holy shit.
I mean, that's disgusting, and I hope it happens. I'm not going to get my hopes up, though. To round out what Milan needs, we do need another center back, preferably a ball-playing center back, although I think that
what do you mean preferably a ball-playing center back? They have Koni de Winter and Mario Hila.
Well, I was just going to say that I think what I'm seeing on Twitter, on the X-Waves...
And Gabi is good on the ball, too.
...is that Koni de Winter is being fully discounted. That guy is good. I'm not quitting on him.
He was
really bad last year, but he's
really
a good player.
I agree.
Very, very nimble, good on the ball. I think that he just needed better development. He needed better coaching. I don't think that... And he never really got consistent playing time except for when Gabi got injured, which was already at the end of the season, which was a bad time.
And then he also got put at center back, which I also don't think is his best position.
I think he's going to be very good as a right center back. I mean, he basically is a right back that can play right center back. In any case, that's another need. And then I don't love the Chukwueze at the right wing back position. It's okay. I'd prefer to buy somebody else, especially if we're going to be moving Salamakers over to rotate with Bartasagi off the left.
Yeah.
I think you do need to bring in another right wing back, and we are very active in that market. With all that being said, Vos, before I let you go, the problem that I have with this setup for Milan is that I think that of the 7 teams that we're covering here, 7 teams, we have the largest range of outcomes for the season. I can fully see this team coming in 9th again. But I could see this team vying for the Scudetto again, and everything else in between.
No.
So I don't know.
I think they're better than that. I think this is the best I feel about Milan in the last 3 years. I think Amorim's a good coach, and then I also think that they have enough players with high floors now. Like if Magnan's floor very high, Mario Hila floor very high.
Magnan might be leaving.
Might be. Let's say all things considered.
He deleted everything from Instagram.
Mario Hila, really good. Pavlović, really good. After last season, I think his floor has changed. Right center back, not great, sure. Wing back, left wing back, I don't love. Like I just don't think Bartasagi's a great wing back, personally. I think he needs to get moved.
I think he's awesome. He plays...
Salamakers, I obviously fucking love wherever you play him. And then you have Luka Modric, and then...
Yashari, Ricci.
Yeah, like that's a question mark. But then you have Gonzalo Ramos, Christopher Nkunku, Christian Pulisic, maybe Leão. Like your ceilings, I mean, your floor is pretty high, and you're not going to be handcuffed this year by a bad manager. Or not. Let's not even say bad manager. You're not going to be handcuffing your best players by not allowing them to attack. And I think that's going to make a big difference. But I agree with you. I think where I disagree is I don't really think they need another center back. Like you have Koni, Tomori, Gabbia, Hila, Pavlović, Bartasagi. Like,
but you know Tomori's leaving, and I don't think Gabbia is a Scudetto winning center back.
I like Gabbia, but you don't need to start him. I still like him.
In any case, I mean, again, 21 days out from the end of the window, we've got 4 guys that we've deliberately said you're not playing. I will say, I love the fact that we re-signed Camarda till 2031, and he looks awesome.
And I like he looks playing that other fucking guy.
And Christian Komoto is a fucking dog. I hope he stays in the first team all season. That guy is a dog. There's a picture of him, I said this last episode, of him with Luka Modric when he was a kid. Just posted it again on Instagram saying, dreams come true. That guy loves Milan. He's got the riz. He's got swagger. He's got confidence. I think he's going to be a good player. And you know what? I'm saying it now. I'm going to do it. I am so confident about Christian Komoto. I'm buying his jersey. I'm buying his jersey this season.
We'll move on now to one of our other favorite teams.
Juventus
have probably had the biggest news over the last 2 weeks. Yeah, for sure. So they finally got their target. We never thought it was going to happen. We put a jersey on it. Logs owes Motts a jersey of this guy.
I owe a lot of jerseys out there.
RKM, Randall Kolo Muani, officially to Juve. I think it was like 47 mil. 2 years in the making at this point. Last time he was in a Juve jersey, we were there. We saw him almost score a bicycle kick. I'm happy it happened. And then the other big signing, I'm going to absolutely butcher this, Karim Alabegović, who Bosnian, I think he's like 20 or something like that. Super young winger, 30 mil. They beat out, I think they beat out Chelsea, maybe Bayern. Like this was actually like
They beat out Milan. Well, the Chelsea deal fell through. They beat out Milan, and then they swooped in right after the Chelsea deal fell through.
So like this is a big signing for them. I mean, 30 mils. That's not a small fee. That's pretty sizable, I would say. So those are two big ones. How do you want to talk about this really quick? Do you want to talk about these two guys at all? But your thoughts on them? I think RKM is a really important signing.
I mean, of course, is a really important signing. I mean, not only has Motts is a crazy guy, but not only has he been talking about getting RKM on Juventus, but the entire Twitter sphere has also been behind this.
And him for like since he's not been there. He's been like, I want to go.
And Kolo Muani's been
the vibes,
praying to go back to Juventus.
are crazy high. For
every single player from Juventus has been posting videos celebrating this and being with Kolo Muani. So on paper and on the surface, it has to work. I am praying on his downfall because I think it would be the funniest thing of all time. Not even from a Milan standpoint, not from a competitive standpoint. I just think it would be the funniest thing for him to suck.
I think he's good though. I think he's a really good player. Like he can do a lot of things, which is I think something that they miss. Like Dusan Vlahovic, very one-dimensional. I think Jonathan David, very one-dimensional. Luis Openda, obviously very one-dimensional. Like RKM is a guy you can play against any team, like really in any formation.
Yeah.
You don't even need to play him at the 9 if you really wanted to move him out of there. Like that's what I like about him.
And he's been there, done that. A lot of experience at a Kolo Muani.
Yeah, and he was good on Juve. He was like one of the few bright spots, and that's part of the reason why people were so happy to get him. But I mean, he comes in and he's 100% locked to be the starting number 9. And I think even beyond that, like unlimited leash, like there's no way he's just not, like they're gonna play him no matter what. Like he's just gonna keep. They're not gonna be like, oh, you're not playing good. Let's get Jonathan David in there for a couple swings. Like that's not gonna happen. He's gonna have unlimited leash. He's gonna be. They're also gonna play around him. And then one thing I did just think about, he's a little like Osimhen in some of the things he does. He's very different, I think, in a lot of ways. But in terms of like tall, athletic, can run, will press you. Spalletti got a lot out of Osimhen, and I could see him getting a lot out of RKM.
I mean, it was a huge signing. It definitely, if for nothing else, if they did nothing else this summer and they only got Kolo Muani, I think that a lot of people would call that a win. My 2 cents here is number one, and Motts would be the first one to say this: they need a new goalie. It's no surprise to anyone that we're saying this, but Di Gregorio has the yips. It's not there. He doesn't have it. You got to get somebody else in there. He cannot save a shot for the life of him, and that's his only job. Got to get a goalie in there. I know they're linked to Suzuki for a dry loan from PSG. I don't think that one makes a lot of sense.
Suzuki does some dumb shit too. Like
Suzuki does a ton of dumb shit.
There is this random like pedestal of Suzuki, and I don't really know why. Because he fucks up.
He was really good 2 seasons ago, and then last season he started to get these weird occurrences where he just
like early Donnarumma type performances, but he's not that young.
No, but just a shoe-in for some stupid shit once a game. The old Donny rooms. That's number one first and foremost. The other thing that I'll say about Juve, a little bit similar to Milan in the fact that it's not a one position type deal at the moment, but Juve are just mid. They have so many guys that they spend a ton of money on. It's hard to move on from.
It's convenient you're saying this when Motts is not here, I will say.
I'll say it to Motts' face on the next episode next week. We can get a little boxing match at the beginning of the episode. But Motts, feel free to chime in at any moment here, kid. But a lot of mid players. But it shouldn't come to a surprise that I'm saying this, and Motts would probably agree. We talked about it all season long. That the caliber of player that Juventus has across the board just isn't it. And it's not something that can be fixed in one window. It is a multi-year, you got like academy development type deal that they've got to get rid of a lot of their fat, but they also can't just do that all in one window. You'd be rotating the whole squad. So they've got a tough road ahead, and hopefully that front line can keep them afloat. Maybe Douglas Luiz comes in and changes the game for them because that's kind of like a new signing. They're bringing him back from the Prem. But Koop Minor still can't get out of his own way. Cambiasso hasn't come back to the form that we saw two years ago when he was linked to Manchester City. Bremer is due for an ACL injury any day now.
Oh, dude.
So you got to wonder. Plus, I said it before this episode, if I'm looking on paper and I'm going up against Juve and I'm seeing Yildiz, Kolo Muani, and Conceição up against me, I'm not scared. That doesn't affect me at all. I don't mind playing that front three. to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of positions they need, I agree with goalie, and then I think left back. I think the more interesting conversation is on the midness of this team, if we're going to call it that. Midness?
A lot of midness.
And when I say that, I think it's important to, like, with a grain of salt kind of thing, because, like, Coop Miners, when they got him, was supposed to be, like,
he was an absolute dog.
He was. And I think that signing was probably, like, the biggest lock of a guy to be really good on a team that they've made in a long time. So, like, when you go outside of that, like, Yildiz, this new guy, Karim whatever,
Alabegović.
We'll figure it out. Alabegović, the J silent.
We're going with Alabegović, the J silent.
Conceição, Zagrova, even if they end up selling him, Jonathan David, I would even put RKM in that mix. Kefren Turam, Locatelli. How good are these guys going to be? They could be great, but when was the last time we saw any of them be great? Like I don't think we've ever seen Conceição.
They have a great game once in a blue moon and never at the same time.
And we talked about this really quickly before the episode. Yildiz had 16 goal contributions last year in 2,800 minutes, and like we're like, oh, Yildiz is the star boy of this team. Rafael Leão had 1,000 less minutes and had like 11 goal contributions. So it's like, I just think that the standards for this team have dropped, and they also continue to make like these risky investments. Like 30 million for like a 20-year-old that hasn't really played at a high level is a massive risk. And like Zagrova was more of a lock to be good than this guy. It's same with Conceição. And like they're both good. They're not great, and they've kind of gotten into this pattern, I think, in a lot of ways. And again, like RKM could knock it out of the park this year.
Let's put Openda in that conversation too. I mean, I know they just loaned him out, but Openda for 44 mil last, well, like technically this summer. I mean, that is way too much.
Yeah, that was a bad signing. I think the money that they paid for RKM is warranted. What I don't like about it is still like and I like him. I'm saying this as a guy that likes RKM. I think he's good. I do think he is probably going to be good. He is not a lock to be good.
No.
Like he
struggled on Tottenham, although everyone on Tottenham struggled.
His floor is not like 15 goals. His floor could be
like 10, 7.
Like, yeah. And do I think that's lower likelihood? Yes. But it's still kind of the same thing of like buying these guys because like they could be good and other people want him in a way. You know what I mean? So that's what I don't like. You. But I mean, at the end of the day, like Yildiz, RKM, Alabegović could be good, but it also could be not good, which is what I don't like about Juve. And I think this also gets into the point of like, where do they need to buy people? Nowhere, really? Because like all these guys are kind of good, but they also aren't very good. So it's like, what do you, unless you're spending like 100 million on a guy, what are you doing? So I don't know.
Yeah. And like I said, we were talking about the inconsistency of Yildiz before the episode. Arsenal comes knocking with a rumor that they might offer 100 mil for a Yildiz. Express shipping overnight, baby.
Yeah,
I'm taking that all day long.
I would agree.
All day long.
Agree.
But that's Juve. Sorry, Motts, you're not here to defend your boys, but we can get into it next week. But that does bring us to a really interesting project in Atalanta. The boys in Bergamo with their new leader in Sarri, Maurizio Sarri coming in. They're a interesting team.
Yeah.
Interesting team. Promising team, but certainly interesting. What do they need, Vos?
Yeah, this is kind of one of those same things. We said they needed a midfielder and then probably a center back. I think where this conversation really shifted on Atalanta coming into the season was when they re-signed Ederson, which was insane. Like that was done. Like that he was gone, and now all of a sudden he's here, and he is also your best player. Like that's a massive keep. The reason we say they probably need another midfielder, though, is it's kind of been like Ederson and Darun. And Darun is like playing less and less and less, and they don't really have another defensive-minded midfielder, we'll call it. What we've seen from Sarri so far is that he's probably going to play a three-man midfield, like kind of like what we expected. And you have guys like Summercic, Gianluca Gaetano, who is their new signing, who I would say are more attacking players. I think Summercic can play down there if you need him to, but I think they need another guy in there, and I don't think they have him right now. So that's one area I'm watching. And then number 2, Logs, you're probably right about this one, is another center back. It looks like they're going to play, what we've seen actually is like a back four with Ahnor, Kasunu, Scalvini, I just blacked out, and Bellanova. So with that being said, if one of them goes down, and inevitably one of them, probably 2 of them will go down, you have backups of like Ezekiel, Jim City.
Was kind of bad last year.
Yeah, Ian was not good. He was really bad last year, and I really like him. Bellanova, like in a pinch, in a back 3, you can play him. So I think they probably need somebody. I don't think they need to be crazy good, but I think they need somebody expecting them to play like 15 games in Serie A.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot tell me with a straight face that you think that Scalvini, Ahanor, our other boy, Kasunu, are going to stay healthy. I said it before. I think they combined for 50 missed games because of injury that season at least. So I don't think that Hien is good enough to put all your eggs in his basket in terms of being that backup for the full. Because again, it's a 3. You're going to put. Well, I guess they're playing a 2 back.
We'll know like what it is.
Sorry. So I guess that's a little bit different, but I just don't think that Hien, you want to put all your eggs in that basket.
No, definitely not.
Bellanova's not going to play center back in a 2 back, so that's not going to work either. I did not know this, but Bernasconi is 6'3".
Yeah, but he's not playing center back. But
he's also not playing center back.
Also, with Bernasconi, I don't know where the fuck he's going to play now that I just said this roster.
Left back.
Yeah. So Ahanor, your best center back pairing, Ahanor is Scalvini. They're both going to get hurt for 40 games. Yeah.
Right. So again, you don't need to break the bank on another center back here, especially given what Atalanta need to do this season to have a successful season.
Dude, I don't even know what they're.
We'll talk about that next week, but I think that they definitely need to bring in a guy that's going to be expected to play.
Yeah.
15. Start. I think play 30 plus games, but start 15.
Yeah,
15.
I agree.
So, I really think it's a really promising team still.
They're
that
nasty.
Midfield could use a little bit of a revamp. It's getting old. Darun, Pasalic moving on a little bit there. Somebody to really continue to grow up with Ederson.
Get me Ravella.
I know. Ravella would be so sick, but it's really tough to think that
if
Lazio
Ravella get Atalanta, you will probably see me finally commit to Atalanta full time.
You're not going to commit to any team ever. So, but Atalanta really promising team, and I would expect to watch a lot of their games this year because they are going to be exciting.
And they have a sick coach in Sarri, so they're going to play good ball.
Good ball. A lot of bogues on the sidelines.
Oh my god, yeah. Last team, there's nothing
Last
to cover.
But not least.
There's nothing to cover. It's Lazio. They're not good. They have a bad coach, and they have a lot to do. They could literally use a player at every position at this point, apart from Kenneth Taylor.
6.
No, they need a backup.
They
need a backup for Ravella because he's going to get hurt and miss 20 games.
They need a center back.
They need at least one center back. They need at least one outside back. I would probably say, they don't need a right wing because they have Pellegrino.
And Isaacson.
Or not Pellegrino. I'm spacing on it. Is it Pellegrino?
No, Pellegrino's on...
Yeah, 1 sec. I'm spacing on it. Consigliere is what I'm thinking of. Isaacson and Consigliere, and then I wasn't blown away by Sakani last year, so I think they basically need a player in every position, is what I'm saying here. And I'm not a fan of Noslin. I'm never going to be a fan of Noslin.
No, Noslin's not very good.
I gave it a shot.
They need a goalie.
Year. They need a goal. No, they don't need a goalie. They have a good goalie. They have the young
guy,
Motts. Yeah, but they're fucked. I think they are fucked. They're finishing below 10th place this year.
Yeah, I mean, like if you look at what they've done this offseason so far, they brought in a guy from Real Madrid's C team, which I didn't even know they had a C team. They bring in Dutch defender Dwecki from Union Berlin, which maybe if you told me that 4 years ago, I would have been like, that's sick, but they suck now. Boulia Dia, who's been there. Official. That was a loan. That was a loan to buy, and then they bring in a Spanish guy, Alfonso Pedraza from Villarreal, on a free. So none of those additions mean anything to me. They apparently forgot how to do the transfer window after their transfer ban, because that is not how you approach your first transfer window after being unbanned. And considering what they did last season and the season before, you would think that Latito would be like, I need to revamp everything. And he apparently has decided that I'm going to do nothing, to the point where Lazio fans are not buying season tickets, and they are saying we're not going to go to any games. So that is a disaster.
This team's going to be really bad. They're going to be really, really bad.
Really bad. But this is where Sassuolo could take a leap. This is where Sassuolo could leap. This is where Fiorentina
I'll talk
can come
about it
back
next
in.
week, but like the Ismaili Sarr injury is crippling to Sass. Crippling. He was so important.
No, Kone, dude.
Yeah, Kone. Sorry, Ismaili Kone. My bad. Same guy, same first name is the problem.
You did that in the last episode too.
I did?
That's your boy, dude.
Yeah.
That's your boy. No, the Kone injury to Sassuolo is huge. I agree. Yeah. But if they go out and get like a Thorsby,
they already have Thorsby. And they kind of need a Matic replacement because he was really good last year. And I don't know if he's
but he's also an old bag. So yeah, they kind of need it.
Maybe
actually, Basic would have been a good buy for them.
And they lost Maramovic. They lost Maramovic too, who was a fucking tight end last year. Yeah. They're not going to be as good as they were last year,
No, they're
unfortunately.
Not. And no Grosso.
That's it.
All right, Paizans. It was an absolute sode here. Really glad that you guys could come along for the ride. Again, Not a lot of news, so you listen to Calcio Culture for our opinions, so we just gave you an hour of our unadulterated opinions. Hope you enjoyed. Tell us what you think. Tell us where your team needs to do a little bit of business for the rest of the transfer window here. Again, all the socials. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Get involved. We need you. You need us. At Calcio Culture FC on X, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And you're listening to us pre-recorded on all your favorite streaming sites, Spotify and Apple Pods. No Motts today to defend Juventus, but we do have Vos the Wanderer. Vos, take us away.
2 weeks to kick off. Prediction episode next week. Stay tuned. Paizans, don't be a gagoots, and Forza Calcio Culture.